This is the US dollar in exchange for the Danish krone. The trend is upwards in favor of the dollar. Look at the past year. So basically anytime you see things coming up like this, if you have US dollars or you're an American, then it's generally better for you. Let's look at the euro, or how about we check out the Chinese yuan. Okay, so here we have the 1-year graph, and let's go to the 10-year graph. It's been fairly stable over the past year, with the end of last year being the worst, exactly 1 year ago. But if you look going all the way back 10 years ago, much better for the US. So what does it mean? It's a downward trend in favor of the Chinese. Let's look at the Mexican peso. We're looking at an upward spike, and we have numerous spikes here, 2011, 2012, that came down, and we have a huge spike here in the late winter of 2009. So 6 years ago we have a peak that we're going to supersede, and it could be an all-time high as far as we know here. It's definitely a 10-year high that we could reach if it goes above 15. So this is in favor of the dollar. Let's look at another currency. Other places that we might go. Costa Rica, Colon. Let's look at that. We have a lot of adjustments here in the way they do it in the Costa Rican treasury cycle. It looks like slightly downward. The best was at the beginning of this year. Well, not at the immediate beginning, but about 10 months ago. So late, very late winter going into the spring was really good for Americans. Now it's stabilizing and going back down. We will now check out the Australian dollar. Okay, so we have the upward trend in this case, but not quite as pronounced as the spike. This is an enormous spike here that gave you 50% better on your money in the late 2008 going into the winter of 2009 was really good, but we don't see anything better coming up. This is a slow rise, so we'll have to see what happens on the Australian. We could also look at the Russian ruble. Let's find it. The Russian ruble here. Sorry about the unsteadiness, but oh wow. We are definitely at a 10-year high. Let's zoom in. It's 400% gain, almost, at least 300%. The past year shows the rise really starting in December, spiking, coming back down a little bit after mid-December, and looks like it's coming back up yet again. So Russia is a very good travel bargain or investment bargain at this time for anyone with US dollars. We're going to look at one final currency, which will be the Cuban. We have a convertible peso and a peso, which I think would mean if you go to Cuba, you can get these directly, but if you have to convert from the dollars, see, what doesn't make sense to me is that will they convert this figure if the Cubans are saying that this is not a convertible peso, that they have a specifically convertible peso. Let's look at the differences to maybe figure this out. If anybody has any information about the way the Cuban currency works, which must be pretty well protected, if you can let us know, give us a comment. Otherwise, I'll look into it further. Yeah, it's a very manipulated and pegged to the dollar. This is the Cuban convertible peso, so it's looking like a 1-to-1 ratio. But let's take a look at the straight up Cuban peso. Would they even give you a conversion for it? Well, it looks like US dollars will get you 26.5, and also it is controlled. So this is just really interesting. I don't know the difference. It's a matter of logic. I would have to think about it logically, but I don't. I might be missing something here. So like I said, I'm open to your information and your suggestions. We can either stop on that note, or I can give you one more that I had prepped up. Oh, it's not there anymore. I gave you more than 10. Well, let's just end on the euro, since that's one of the major comparisons that people are interested in. Two major powers that are allied. Looks like we have a better trend for the United States over 2014. So this is probably being reported in the year in review, since we're at January 1st now. The dollar has fared well against the euro, but not extremely well, because we do have similar ups and downs for a long time, but at least we're not in the slump. We're talking pro-USA dollar here, but the slump, at least we're not in the slump from 2006 to 2008 compared to that, the euro rise. That was a very difficult time if you traveled to Europe. So right now we're more stable, and it's looking better for the dollar. And let's see if there's any micro trend here. Still continues to rise steadily. We're at 0.82 of the euro. So we're going to see if that reaches the 1-to-1 ratio. Thanks for listening, everybody.